everybody, Jan of Jan Hicks Creates here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to San Antonio. It is, let's check, almost 11 a.m., 90 degrees and sunny in San Antonio. My thoughts go out to those along the Louisiana coast, along the, the northeast Texas coast, with Laura coming in. Stay safe, please evacuate if they're asking you to. Better safe than sorry. We've lived through a couple tropical storms, hurricane, maybe one Cat 1 hurricane in Florida. Certainly tropical storms and hurricanes in Maryland, and then tropical storms in Hawaii. We've been very lucky because several of those we were in the RV, and it's not anything to mess with, but we didn't have any problems. But yeah, so I'm thinking about you guys out in that area. How are you guys doing today? We're doing pretty good. Mike is back to work this week. Yay! I hate to say that. I do love having him around, but being in this tiny little space, it's also good to have some away time. So he's on every other week, so he'll be back possibly poking in his head next week. I have piles around me as usual, but I expect this will be shorter, just because I'm trying to get back to a weekly schedule. I first want to give a shout out to Chris. Chris Fiotto very generously lent me her DMC color card guide. Chris, I've used it already. Thank you. Once I get mine, this will be going back to Chris, but it's kind of like a must-have for designing. I would not have been comfortable putting out my last design if I hadn't had that to double check my DMC numbers. I also want to give a shout out to Rachel Ferreira. She is here in San Antonio. Chris is also in Texas. I'd have to look at the address. She's a little bit further away. Rachel is here in San Antonio. After watching my video, she reached out to me and said she is combining households, and she would be happy to share with me because she has doubles of a lot of things. So she gave me an iron. And actually it's a nicer iron than the one that I have. So I may be keeping that and donating mine when I get it. And she sold me, she's a quilter, she has multiple sewing machines. She sold me a 2-year-old brother machine. So I am now also sewing machine equipped. So Rachel, thank you very much for reaching out to me. I really appreciate it. Haven't used the sewing machine yet, did use the iron. So perfect timing. Let's see. I have a new product out, I have progress, I have a little bit of haul to show you. So yeah, let's get started. Finish. This is my next design in my Flourish, seasonal Flourish designs. This is Autumn Flourish. This went up into my store on Monday, and I've gotten a great response. Thank you so much to those of you that have already purchased this, completing your collection of the Flourishes. I am going to have other Flourish designs. I still have some other seasonal ones that are more like 2 words, like summer fun, that kind of thing. So there will be more added to this, as well as inspirational words like dream, inspire, that have the flourishes in different colors as well. So there will be more in this line, but the plain season ones are done. This is stitched in a mixture of Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works over-dyed flosses. I do also give the DMC conversion. This is stitched on a 32 count sand is the colorway by Picture This Plus. 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. I am very pleased with how this turned out. I have not finished it yet because For those of you that have been around for a while, you might recall my earlier Flourish finishes, seasonal ones, I had mounted on the sticky board and then mounted on that kind of tin and wood container that has flowers in it. So I am going to wait until I get my household goods, which won't be till November, so we'll be heading into winter at that point. But I'm going to get that before I finish it so I can make sure I mount it, you know, with the correct dimensions and everything. So this will go into my ever-growing pile of finishes. I don't have an under the bed box. I have a rolled pile of finishes in the bottom of one of my cupboards in the bedroom. So just very, very pleased with that. For those of you that want to use it on Pattern Keeper, it will load into Pattern Keeper. All of my patterns are compatible. But with this one in particular, because the colors that are given are, you know, the first color list that's given is the overdyed flosses. Pattern Keeper does not recognize them. They're looking for DMC numbers. So you'll have to input the thread color and the thread name next to the symbol whenever you load it into Pattern Keeper. I could go back and rearrange. No, that would be too much work. Sorry about that. You'll have to make those changes in Pattern Keeper if you want to load it into Pattern Keeper. So yeah, that is my finish. Now, because I was working on that a lot this week, I didn't get as much attention to some of my other ones, but there is some progress. So continuing with, this is the Prim Stitch series by Fat Quarter Shop, Lori Holt. So number 2, let me find the picture of that. I don't know that I've ever found the picture of that. This is a 12-month series. This one is called, number 2 is called Joy and Contentment. And I know there was some glare last week on this, so forgive the glare. Try and get that position so it's not too bad. So that is number 2. And so you can see there's that great big bowl or vase of strawberries there with the bird. That's what I'm working on currently. Now, if you would like to, if you have thought about this, were unsure whether you wanted to join, and you'd like to see the entire 12 months, they have a quilt which I'm pretty sure is also called the Prim Stitch series or Prim Stitch quilt. If you go to Fat Quarter Shop and look for that, you can see the full quilt with all the different squares, so you'll be able to see what's coming in the future months. So that is mine. I am stitching this on the called for fabric, which is a 25 count Lugana. I am stitching it over 1. And somebody with the called for Aurifil floss, and no, I have not done the reviewed video yet. I need to just sit down and do a bunch of videos, and I just, now that Mike isn't here this week, I just need to get it done. Anyway, somebody asked how many strands I am using. I am just using the 1 strand of floss. Over 1 on 25 count. And again, I love the petiteness of it. Love, 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 love. So the next pattern gets sent out, number 3 gets sent out around the 5th or the 6th of the month. So we still have a few days to get this done and maybe get some more of the border done. Like I said, I got behind because I was stitching up Autumn Flourish. It is what it is. Pretty little India. So I am working over here on the right hand side. I have most of this bottom building done. There's a palm tree that goes up here to match this one. I have this elephant almost completed. Buddha is almost completed. I actually ran out, you know, my thread organizer's over on the other side of the table, so I won't reach for it, but for this project I've put all my threads on my thread organizer organizer. And before we left Hawaii, I pulled out everything that I needed and put, you know, cut off strands to put on the thread organizer. And of course, it's just a total guess as to how much I need. Well, Buddha here needs just a little bit more of 972. And I was afraid that was going to happen. And I thought, well, again, it is what it is. I went out and bought, I ran out of one of the blues, 3761, one of the light blues, and I actually went out and got another skein of that. I should have looked. I have 2 full coverage projects with me. Actually, I don't have the floss for Balmy Spring Day. I think I just have, because that was in those big art bins. I don't think I brought that, but I do have all the floss, of course, for Farewell to Anger. I didn't think to look in it for 3761, but I did look last night, and I do have 972. So, and I just need like 1 strand more. So I will be stealing a strand of 972 to finish up Mr. Buddha there. And hopefully, I really hope to get this done this week. So Pretty Little India. This is stitched on 36 count linen. Just a plain old white Zweigert. And I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2. And this just makes me so happy. So happy when I look at it. Of course, when it gets finished, it's going to get rolled up and added to my pile. I actually need to start taking some, I don't know whether I asked this before. Does Stitches from the Heart, the cross stitch store here, do any of you know, do they do framing in-house? Or they could probably recommend a framer, but it'd be nice if they did it in-house. So I haven't been there yet, obviously. Maybe this weekend. So the other one that didn't get a whole lot of attention later in the week was Pandemic. So I have another pink flower to put in here and the matching bird. My little rainbow lorikeet, as I believe Lynette Peters called him. I did add that aqua, that is Mrs. Sadis aqua floss down there at the bottom. And then the black will kind of outline it. So yeah, didn't get a whole lot more done because Autumn Flourish, but that's okay. I did pull out Farewell to Anger again because it was calling to me. And you know, this one is so hard because unless I show the before picture, you're like, yep, doesn't look much different. I am up to 2.06% though. I think last time I put it away, I was at 1.75, 1.86, something like that. So I got this red all filled in, starting with this little green blob here, got more of the red here, got more of the blacks and navy blues filled in. So yeah, over 2% now. Woohoo! Takes forever, but I love it. I just, makes me happy. All right, so that's pretty much all that I've been working on. Yeah, I think so. Once I get Pretty Little India done, I'm going to pull out one of the Christmas one, or the Christmas bouquet from Cedar Hill again, and hopefully get that done so that, you know, I want to continue working on the Christmas ones. In my shop, in addition to Autumn Flourish, I'm happy to be designing more consistently again. Those of you that follow me on Instagram will have seen maybe in my stories that I'm posting stuff about my son's artwork, and I've posted a couple of them on my feed, and several people had said, oh, I thought that was going to be your next cross-stitch design. Well, I talked to Ben and he's like, yeah, go for it. So this one is now in my shop. Again, glare, here we go. So this is a picture of the original artwork. This is called Hypnagogia. Hypnagogia means the transitional state between wakefulness and sleep. So I'm going to rest this on my shoulder. That's the original image of his artwork, and that is the computer-generated mock-up of the stitched version. So that is in my shop. Full coverage design. I am also going to be putting up today a smaller version that's kind of just this middle strip here. So kind of like a bookmark, like the fractal bookmarks, a skinnier, smaller version. This has 128 colors. The smaller version has either 98 or 93, I don't remember. So not a whole lot fewer colors, but definitely smaller in size. It's hard to get fewer colors when you're dealing with this much color. So you're going to continue to see his artwork translated into cross-stitch patterns. I also will be working on, hopefully starting next week, that 3D design that I've mentioned several times. Yeah, I did bring the fabric for that and the floss. I have to get the chart back into my program, what I've started, and finalize it yet, I think. I don't even know what stage I'm on for that. But hopefully by the end of September, I will have that stitched, have some directions written up. See, this is going to be the tricky thing, because I think there's going to need to be a lot of instructions on how to figure out where on the fabric to stitch, so that when you go to sew it all together, it comes out right. So I need to do all that out. I need to test it myself, and then I'll probably send it out to a couple test stitchers as well, so I can make sure that my instructions make sense. So that is all coming down the pike. Let's see, what goodies did I get? Let me move that out of the way, move this up here. Oh, bump you around in the process, sorry about that. Okay, so one of the things that I'm kind of thrilled about is this. So what is this? This is a 10 by 10 design board. Again, from Fat Quarter Shop by Lori Holt, Bee in My Bonnet. So I was looking, I think I was just looking through their notions the other day, and I saw their design boards. And of course, those of you who quilt are more than familiar with their design boards, right? And they have very big ones that aren't practical for cross stitch. But this is a 10 by 10. And I looked at this and thought, you know, that's the same as any of these, like the Bitsy Bobs, or, you know, any of the sticky fabric kind of felty things. I thought I'd get one and try it. You know, the Bitsy Bobs are great for my smaller projects, but for my bigger projects, like even, I just showed it to you, Pretty Little India. I could have used a bigger Bitsy Bob or a bigger something to roll my floss up on, my bits that are still in process. So I decided to get one of these and try it. Of course, it's cheaper than a Bitsy Bob. Not as fancy, not as pretty. It is just a piece of foam core with some fabric around the edges, and a piece of batting or felt of some sort on it. But for my bigger projects, I think it's going to work really well. 10 by 10 will still fit into a project bag, and it came in one of these kind of, you know, the wrinkly bags. So it is just going to slip back in there, slip back in there when I'm done, so that the floss will be protected and won't stick to anything else. So 10 by 10, I don't remember the price, probably around 10 or 11 bucks, so not bad. So yeah, I will link that below. They are, so Fat Quarter Shop now is just, like they said, up the road from me in Buda, Texas, which is just south of Austin. The shipping, their shipping times have improved immensely. I ordered this and probably got the shipping notice maybe 3, maybe 4 days after, not any longer than that, maybe even 2 days after. And then from there, you know, down to here, it only took a couple days. So at least for bits and pieces here and there. I will say, you know, with the holdup that we're seeing in some of the delivery, I have not experienced that myself here where we are in any of the mailings we've gotten from any place. Of course, having said that, there is one thing, and it's kind of a major thing. Our major credit card, our main credit card, did get compromised on our way. I think it happened even before we got to Phoenix. I think we were still in Los Angeles when it happened. And you know, credit card companies these days, they catch any anomalies and they let you know and they ask you if it's you, and if it's not, they immediately shut down the card. At least ours, this is our Southwest card, Chase. They've always been, or you know, they're very good at that. So they shut it down, and of course when they send out a new card, you always get it within a couple days, right? There's always like a rush on that kind of mail. We never did get it. So we contacted them. They shut down our new account. They're rushing out new cards, which should be here in a couple of days. So who knows if those cards got lost, if they're, you know, if they're held up someplace because of this whole postal system mess. Who knows? All I know is that we didn't get those. We're still waiting. So, all right, other goodies. Circle, a little help from our friends. You know, it says it right here. A little help from our friends Stitching Circle by the Silver Needle. This is the next kit in that. Now this was sent out a while ago. We had these for a while we were transitioning. We had a forwarding mail service set up through Good Sam, which is the kind of one of the camping RV organizations. So our mail was going, I was giving that address out to people while we were transitioning, and they're in Florida. It's kind of a P.O. box basically, and then they gather your mail for you, and you can tell them which ones you want and which ones they can pitch, and then they send you whichever you ask for. So this actually went to Florida and was sitting for a few weeks before it came here. But this is Bent Creek. Each day is what it's called. Each day provides its own gift is what the whole drum says. This is a full kit with the fabric, the floss, the finishing chenille, buttons, felt flowers if you want to do, I think there are more pictures in here that I'll pull out. Felt flowers if you want to do that on top. The little goodie this month is this little set of tweezers, and this is small enough. I meant to have this pulled over here already. This is small enough to fit in my little pouch. I have a little pouch that I keep next to me in my chair that has all of it has my corner finder, it has my bow and needles, it has another needle case here, little scissors, my measuring tape, it has one of my knitting tapestry needles, it has a little highlighter, my seam ripper, it has all of my little must-have close to me. And so that little set of tweezers will go in there too. So this kit is just chock full of goodies. It has the needle. It has these little buttons. It has more buttons. It has the little felt flowers. It has little pins. It has the floss. It has the chenille. It has the fabric. The only thing it does not have is the finishing fabric for the top and the bottom. So let's see if there's other pictures for this. So So this again is the circle of, I can't even remember it after just saying it. A little help from our friend Stitching Circle. It does not have a more complete picture of, oh, there it is. So this is one of their rows, right? Each day provides its own gift. So you could finish it framed if you wanted, or as the drum. And the felt flowers are, if you want to decorate the top. I've never done a drum, but when I do this, that may be how I finish it. Heck, why not? There is one more kit in this year's Circle of Friends Stitching Circle, and then they will be taking sign-ups for next year. I will be signing up for this one again, like I've said before. I need to get in touch with them with my final new address. They probably, you know, these people, like, I'm getting from Stitchy Box. I ordered, they were offering, this is a while ago, in, I don't know, May, June, they were offering some fiber on the whim fabric. And I ordered from them. I ordered their anniversary or their birthday box too. I'm still waiting on that. But anyway, poor Liz at Stitchy Box. First I emailed her to say, if this isn't going to make it to Hawaii by such and such a date, can you hold it for me? She wrote back, no problem. Got to Phoenix. Okay, I'm gonna be here a month because I got the notice that it was ready to be shipped. I'm gonna be here a month, can you send it out? Got the shipping notice for that. There was some kind of delay. She had so many orders that she got some of them to the post office. I was waiting and waiting. She had, you know how they print the shipping label, but they don't necessarily get it to the post office right away? Well, I saw that the shipping label had been printed, but the tracking was showing it's still pre-shipment. So I waited and waited, and it was like early in our month in Phoenix. I was like, oh, I'll definitely get this in time. It was the week before we were due to leave, and I finally wrote to Liz and I said, I need to know the status. And what we were having to do there is, okay, so we put the forwarding address in for our mail in Hawaii, right? And that was to go to Florida. What we were having to do in Phoenix, they weren't accepting any mail at the RV park in Phoenix. We had to go to the post office in Fountain Hills to pick up all of our mail, which wasn't a big deal, you know, fine. But I didn't know, since we already had one forwarding order in, could I put another forwarding order in? So I wrote to Liz and I'm like, I am so afraid this is going to get lost in the mail. And she said, no worries. I don't think it's gone out. If you haven't, if that tracking isn't keeping up to the actual mail either, but by now you should have seen something. I think I probably still have it here. Let me confirm. And she did. So then I finally wrote to her here and said, okay, this is the final address. And she has sent it, and I think I should get it Saturday. But I mean, you talk about the patience of a saint. Stitchy Boxes Liz. Customer service beyond expectations. And the patience of a saint. Thank you, Liz. I don't think she watches my videos, but if you do, I appreciate you. All right, so that is that. The other thing I got, so I saw, Lisa Francis, Michelle Lawson, one of you or somebody else posted somewhere on Facebook that Vicki Clayton is now dying again. Now, you may have heard of Vicki Clayton from Caroline, Off the Grid Needle Arts. She has a lot of her silks that she's been using on various projects. Vicki Clayton was no longer in business. She is apparently back in business. She does have a website. I will post it below. At this point, she only has linen, hand-dyed linen, and just plain silk floss. So I don't know whether she's gearing up to start dyeing her silk again. Excuse me. Or, whether she's going to focus on fabric. Her website does say that this is fabric that she is having woven especially for her, so it's not like a Zweigert base, but her prices are amazing. Amazing. She says she is not ironing or serging the fabric to help keep, you know, the time that she has to touch it down and therefore keep the prices down. She doesn't have a whole lot of colors. She's keeping to, I think, kind of samplerish colors, so expect neutrals. But this is what I got. This is one of her mystery colors. She has several that are mystery. You do not know what you're getting, but they are, it's not that there's anything wrong with them, it's that they are unrepeatable colors. I got a fat half. The light is kind of blowing it out. That's pretty good. It might be a little bit darker than what you're seeing on your screen. This is a fat half. $14 plus $4 shipping. For a fat half, 36 count, gorgeous, gorgeous linen. I mean, really, really pretty. A really nice hand, not really floppy, but not stiff at all. I mean, it's a little floppy, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous hand. I am thrilled. I've ordered more because that's what you do. I ordered a piece of her undyed linen, 40 count, fat half, in order to get a big enough piece. Do you remember that Bavarian sampler by Historische Stickmuster that I showed you on the last video? I need a piece for that. This, I know I said I was going to get my fabric from Stitches from the Heart, the store here, but this I think would be gorgeous. So I pulled out, okay, so just to remind you, that's the Jeanette Douglas piece that I'm doing in honor of moving to Texas, that I will be starting on Labor Day weekend. This is the floss pack. These are silk flosses. And I think they look gorgeous with this fabric. The fabric she used is definitely lighter. It's a 36 count natural, but I just think these colors look scrumptious on here. Again, trying to get it so it's not too blown out. There's a lot of blue coming in from the natural light in the window. So, $14 for a fat half. Vicki lives in Williamstown, PA, so in central Pennsylvania. And again, the shipping from there to here was just the normal amount of shipping. She got it shipped out probably in a couple days, and it only took 2 or 3 days to get here. So first class mail, normal shipping seems to be working well in whatever stream I'm in. So I ordered the, like I said, the fat half of 40 count, the unbleached linen. That was, I think it was $20, so $16 for the linen, $4 again for the shipping. For a fat half. You got my business. Like I said, I will link her below. She doesn't have a whole lot in her store yet, but I'm hoping with some sales coming in that will encourage her. Forgot to mention my pandemic. That is done on Fiber on a Whim fabric as well. I'm looking forward to getting the ones from Stitchy Box. Fiber on a Whim is doing is my sponsor, if you will. I reached out to them to see if they would be willing to give me a little gift to give away on my Facebook page to celebrate my 1,000 subscribers, and they have done that. So that is going on currently on my Facebook page. I think that's about it. I am thrilled that I am getting back into the swing of things. I still don't feel like I have a good schedule, but I'm getting there. Starting to exercise in the morning again. I still can't go flat on my wrist for yoga, so I'm having to do it on my fist. Still have to get to the doctor, find a good back doctor here, and get my back figured out, because that's still an issue. But we got a vet. We got Sasha to the vet on Monday to get him registered, and so his insulin can be, his diabetes can be managed. Now we just have to find doctors for us too. Yeah, so, but we're getting there. I'm feeling good. So, I hope you guys are feeling good too. Guess what? I have an angel card for you. She is so pretty. We need to have a chart. Cross-stitch chart, Teresa. Isn't she pretty? She says, sometimes you may think God isn't listening because he didn't answer your prayer. Later, you may be thanking God for that unanswered prayer. I think that falls into the category of be careful what you wish for. Not really. God knows what he's doing. It's us that don't, right? We just stumble through every day. If you're stumbling, I hope you're managing to hold on tight to something. We're still having some rough times. Like I said, Mike is back at work. He's thrilled to be there, but he's also ready for retirement. My father-in-law is still doing well. We hope to get out, I don't know whether we'll make it next week or the 2 weeks after the next week that Mike has off, to get our car and visit with him a little bit. But yeah, things are good. Oh, on this side of the Atlantic, on this side of the Pacific. Yeah. Oh, and I just thought of something. September means we should be starting to see StitchCon invoices coming out. I'm going the first week. When are you going? There's a bunch of us that are already aiming for the first week, so I hope to see you there. Can you imagine? StitchCon, that'll be amazing. Again, hopefully all this will be gone by then, right? We'll have vaccines, or we'll have something that will allow us to travel again and see each other and hug and all that good stuff. But until then, take care. Know that I love you. Know that I'm wishing the best for you. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.